mentioned this because some people have asked me about ab stuff. Specifically, you can do that, do your abs totally normal if you just do the same stuff I do during the day, like I do, without flexing, just standing here like this is totally relaxed. That is when they're engaged. It's not trick photography or anything like that. It's just eating right so that there's no extra fat on this portion. And even me, I still have, like, this is thicker down there because I do have some extra fat on the sides. But that literally is from proper diet and from doing harder ab workouts, not high reps all the time, but heavier workouts that make those protrude out because they're deeper cut. There's a deeper groove inside this because they've grown from being forced to work out heavy. This is called a GHD machine. It's called a GHD machine because it's for glutes, hands, and deltoids before doing this, which strengthens your back and back of your hands. It's for doing this. I do that sometimes, but I can tell you I use this far more often for this because I use it to build abs. You get a lot of benefit once you get to the point where this is flat and you're pulling up. If it doesn't hurt your back and you go a little farther, that's also good. You try not to swing. Try not to swing. If you can do a lot more reps if you're doing this and pulling them up quickly, but that won't give you as much time under pressure and build as strong of abs. When you go down controlled and up controlled, it'll put a lot more time under pressure for that muscle group, and it helps to build every part of it. When you go down slow, you come up slow, every part of your abs has to engage to help pull. If you go down quick, you pull back up quick. That fast twitch muscle, the muscle group that's engaged in the bottom, has to really work, but everything that's supposed to engage on the way back up gets to kind of cheat. You can do this exact same thing with adding weights. You can take medicine balls, dumbbells, anything you want that you can hold across you. You can take a weight plate and hold it on your chest. Don't do that until you're familiar with this. But say when you take extra weight, it takes far less to really get a strain. The farther you hold that weight out, you can take a 45-pound plate, put on your chest, and that looks impressive. You can take a 10-pound ball and put it above your head and hold it here. Because of the distance from your fulcrum point, that's harder than 45 pounds here. You're not truly having to lift the 45 completely, whereas the 10 pounds up here, that is a lot longer distance from your hinge point, and you'll feel the difference. When you're doing abs, any bar that you can hang from, it doesn't matter the different grips. There's a lot of different exercises you can do that you can work your way up to. You free hang, and even if you just do knee ups, that will give you a lot of ab workout because it's working your core. I turn back and forth, kind of like doing crunches that you'll bring to the sides. That engages each side. But you can do that same thing by doing that. If you get strong enough, You start doing I think they call it an L sit when you're still hanging and you bring your legs straight in front of you. But you bring them up and hold them straight out. And if you raise them multiple times at that same angle, that really engages your core. Something is in almost every gym in one form or another, or multiple forms. It's they'll call it a Roman chair a lot of times whenever you're in this position and it has the backrest. A lot of gyms will use this on a big rack, and they'll have just the bars going out, and that's literally just dip bars because those are 4 dips. They have a spacing that's approximately a few inches wider than the average shoulders, and dips are fantastic. I'll function in today. I'm just doing ab stuff primarily and core, but I'm throwing in some tricep workout because I didn't get a good tricep workout. I felt like I robbed myself out of it, so I'm throwing in triceps with it. So at the same time, dips are great for triceps because they totally engage that muscle group to try to push you back up. So that is a tricep dip. The more you lean one way or the other, you will engage different muscle groups. There's nothing wrong with it both ways. Again, you can try to be as stiff as possible and go down to where it's about a 90-degree angle with your elbows and back up. You can lean forward. If you rock your knees and lean forward, you'll engage more chest because you're practically doing a chest press when you're doing that. I will try to do both because, again, this is my ab day. I'll do these because I'll get up here and I'll do knee crunches, knee lifts, not knee crunches, knee lifts, which is a lot like when I'm hanging from the bar. And then to give them a rest for a minute, throw in some of the dips. That's a very good workout to give you good abs. Like I said, today I'm focusing on trying to throw in a little bit of triceps anyway, so it's a good way instead of just holding yourself. If you can't do as much of the tricep stuff, the Roman chair portion is designed to do the same thing. Or you can do this. When you get stronger, you can lift your legs straight out. I'm working on my flexibility because what's sad is I've got the strength and I just don't have the flexibility. I can't lift my leg up like these karate guys that practice. It's a strain to get it right here. So I'm just not flexible enough to even get my legs to keep them up there. That's one of my current things I'm working on. This is my own personal gym that I built, so I have crazy things like this inside here. That's just set up to give me just enough effort. Again, if you're going to a regular gym, you're not going to have this exact thing, but you can still do things like it. You can still take a medicine ball. They all have a medicine ball on the rack. A lot of times they'll have these are called like slam balls. These the medicine ball, and most gyms will have things just like this. And they'll even have the different size weighted balls that'll be smaller and variable. It doesn't matter. Some of the small ones are still heavy, some of the bigger ones are still light. If you utilize them, the key thing is, just like you've probably heard with chin-ups, if you're doing chin-ups, I'm gonna sit ups. You're trying, even if you're straining really hard, you're not using your arms to try to pull your neck and hurt yourself. That's just a resting place to keep your arms and add a little bit of weight. So you need to make sure you don't pull on your neck. Utilizing a medicine ball, you still do the same thing. Try to nestle it into that small of your back area. I believe that's called the small of your back, actually. The top of your neck. Pull it in and hold it. There are times, and this just, I'll show you this. A lot of workouts, as you're going down, you're breathing in, and as you're pulling, you're engaging the muscle group and coming up, you're exhaling. On ab stuff, you don't necessarily do that. It's one of the few that you sometimes have to actually hold your breath. So listen to my breathing again. I'm gonna start, when my abs start to engage, I hold my breath to keep everything stiff. So I'm still breathing, and I hold it. Breathe out as I go back up and engage. To take the exact same weight, because if you're doing this where you don't have as many weight options, the farther you get that away from moving that weight from here to here, your hinge point, again, that has gotten far harder. The same, I think 10 pounds. Yeah, the same 10 pounds is a lot harder when it's on my head. If you rock it, it helps you to go up and it's cheating. If you go slow, I promise that's a heck of a pull on your abs. But if you start doing that stuff, you will start seeing pounds a lot. This is a bent leg abdominal board. A lot of gyms don't have this exact piece of equipment. They have some things that are close. They all work slightly different. I like to vary everything up, and on an ab day, I literally engage like absolutely everything that I can possibly do to engage abs. This is not set to me for doing it exactly right. I'll show you this is a little bit low. If it's this exact machine, these will be raised up. I have it to where it's a little more like your standard. They'll have regular ab crunch and dip things that you can do like this. It is slightly easier and it's good to warm up with. Then you can take it and go down, and it can go down farther, still keeping your legs up. On a regular, like at Hometown Fitness, they have one and your bar is straight across here, so your legs are laid out and they're straight down. That is slightly easier than your legs being up, and I've duplicated that by letting my legs stay a little bit straighter in this form. You can do this exact same thing, and if you want increased weight, take a dumbbell, take a medicine ball, put it behind your head, and start pulling up. While it's in this position, I'll show you a few other workouts. They'll call these like Supermans whenever they're holding straight out, but depending on your angle that you keep this bench at, you can start out. It's easier when it's declined like this to do this particular thing because this is a way to build up to doing it harder. But if you start doing little leg raises like this, that will help you. If you want to use this the proper way, you would adjust this height until when you're in this position, and you put your knees up here, your butt comes down and rests, and it forms a much tie like this. Is exactly where my lower back would rest on this, and my knees are supported. And then if you do the exact same workouts, it's far harder. That's what this is designed to do. And when this is up higher, although that makes that exercise easier, the one I showed you earlier, that gives you farther range of motion to go down lower, which makes this harder. You can do this same workout without having this bench. You can have a regular flat bench, and you can hold back here and do it. I just happen to always do it on this bench, so I have my arms up here. But for abs, it's a fantastic workout. All right, I'm gonna try to show you some of my last ab tricks and workouts that I use. I had to build all of these with different chains and stuff and hang them from something in a gym. You'll have straps, usually the ones for doing aerobics and rings and things like that, and some of the yoga movements, and a lot of the different calisthenic things will have different length straps with hand grips and things like that. I'll also have different loops that you can use as ankle straps. These do not have to be tight, but they do need to be softer. You don't want abrasive stuff inside here. For me, I keep them loose because that way you can stand up. When you do the exercise, I'll have them slide down to my ankle. But that makes it to where you don't embarrass yourself and trip yourself by trying to stand up and put these things on. Keep them loose. You don't have to have them form fitted or anything like that, because you want it to where if you're standing up, they couldn't be around your ankles, and I'll show you why. I slide them down to where now they're around my ankles. Hold a push-up or a plank position out here, and then you pull your knees up. The farther you go out, the harder it is to pull. And that's really good for building abs as well. The dismount, that's why they have to stay so loose, so that you can stand up and take them off. All right, I didn't have time to show all of my ab workouts. I also do the rope weighted crunches. That is my all-time favorite for adding the most weight, and I believe getting the most actual growth out of your abs. Check out some of my other videos. You'll see those where I've got pads down here and I explain in depth how to set that workout up. But these videos take too long to crop and make, and I didn't have time to show you all of that because I still want to do my workouts. This is one of the last things that I have thrown in multiple times because, like I've said earlier, I'm still throwing in triceps with my ab workout. You take a regular, any of the cable machines like this, you put yourself a lightweight on there to experiment with this, especially if it's the first time you're doing it. It's a very odd workout. I call it the Wolverines. I have no idea what this workout is actually called, but it engages here a lot. And if you crunch a little bit, you can actually get a light abdominal workout out of it too. You grab these from a higher point, get yourself a good position like this with your arms crossed. Then that's your movement. I roll elbows elbows are up like this. I roll shoulders down, and then I lock out, and I take my forearm and throw it out. It's kind of a 2-movement workout. What I was telling you before was once you add more weight, and I'm tired and I do it, I will do like this. It does engage, like a lot of exercises, you still have to keep your form tight, so you're still engaging a lot of other core muscles, but primarily that is engaging here, and you actually get a little bit of a shoulder rotation at an angle that you don't usually use. If you can imagine why I call it Wolverines, it's because of the X-Men Wolverine while you're holding it, and he always takes his claws out like that. So that's the movement, and one of my last little Bobby workouts.